Okay, phylum Cnidaria. These are the radiate or radially symmetrical animals. Includes things like corals, jellyfishes, anemones, and then this group of hydrozoans, which they're not really jellyfish, pretty similar. This one we're going to look at in lab is from the genus Obelia, and they are of colonial hydroid organism. Okay, so it's very peculiar. They're almost kind of like a plant, the way that they grow. We'll learn. Here's their life cycle. They are sessile at parts of their life, or polyp, and at other parts of their life they are a medusa, and they can float around. They're planktonic. They're sexually reproducing. Then they produce this planula larvae, settles down on the substrate, grows into this adult, and the adult can produce asexual buds, and then they can also reproduce asexually, like a little plant, kind of like a plant. You can break off a piece of this, it can fall on the substrate and grow into an organism. So that's the Obelia. The structures that you'll need to know are found here. So let's go to the slide and take a peek. So I'm going to skip over to our live view, center this, and let's see. It's going to drive me crazy if that thing is upside down, so let's put it this way. Yeah, so here's a hydroid colony. I'll kind of zoom in here. And now remember, when I zoom in and out, different parts of this organism come into focus. Okay, so we're seeing here is sort of like the branch part of the body. Going to the page in the book. This is page 36 in the Van der Graaf's book. And this, so we see the individual polyps at the end. These are reproductive. Well, these are probably feeding polyps here. Okay, so we see basically it's very similar to a medusa jellyfish. If you break this off, flip it upside down, right, we'll see the tentacles on the bottom. The mouth would be down here, right? So the gastrovascular cavity. I'll zoom in right here. Here's the tentacles covered with the stinging cnidocytes. You can kind of barely see those in this highly magnified situation. This would be the gastrovascular cavity, and the mouth would be here. Okay, so there is just one opening to these cnidarians. They don't have a complete digestive system, so they ingest, digest, excrete here, and there are the tentacles. Okay, let's see. What else do we need to know on this guy? Tentacles, cnidocytes. And now these three are really best seen on a Gonionemus whole mount. You can see it in the lab. Okay, but on the Obelia, you're looking for the gastrovascular cavity, tentacles, and the cnidocytes. Okay, you can see those here. Let's look at another example. That's a good example of a feeding polyp here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Look at that guy. Let's even zoom in even more. Oh, wow, look at that. You can see the individual cnidocytes on these guys. So those cnidocytes are those stinging cells that give a jellyfish their stinging abilities. And let's see the little barbs sticking out of them. All right, those are the triggers on the cnidocytes. And if we zoom, or if we move over, here is the gastrovascular cavity, and the mouth would be right down in here, right? Or no, other end. The mouth would be up at this end. Okay. Here's a, I saw down here reproductive polyp. So this polyp here's not focused or specialized for feeding, but inside we see those small little medusa that can kind of fracture off. There's the individual little medusa that can be sent off like these right here. So this is the reproductive one. There's a little baby reproductive medusa inside of them. Okay, so that's the phylum Cnidaria. Look again for this whole mount in the lab and take a look. Find this where the stomach is, very similar to the gastrovascular cavity and the ring canal mat.